Frickin' Professor Myers, always giving us these long assignments. And of course, I had to pick the 450-page book about machine learning and human values. Couldn't just pick something short and normal. Oh shit, is this thing recording? Damn. I'll have to cut this out later. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, now we're good. Hey everyone, I'm Joseph McCafferty, and today I'm talking about The Alignment Problem, Machine Learning and Human Values by Brian Christian. And before I get into the actual review, I do want to point out that I'm using an animated AI version of myself to present a book about whether AI can properly understand and represent human intent. Yikes. So that feels either very fitting or like the start of a problem. Maybe both. Before I break down the book, I made a short cinematic trailer that explains the main idea in a nutshell. Because this is a 450-page book and I had to read the whole thing, the least I can do is give you the movie trailer version first. So here's the simple version of The Alignment Problem. OptiBro, make my life less distracting. No distractions, no meetings, no loved ones. Productivity optimized. That is the alignment problem. AI doing exactly what you asked and absolutely none of what you meant. Dang, OptiBro is kind of sick. Damn it, not again. Damn it, alright, let's get serious. That trailer was the Hollywood version of AI alignment. Now for the actual slightly less explosive review. Brian Christian's The Alignment Problem is basically about one big question. How do we stop machines from doing exactly what we asked? And absolutely none of what we meant. It's like asking a genie for $1 million and getting 1,000,000 literal male deer. High stakes stuff. We need AI to be not just fast or impressive, but actually aligned with what humans meant. And as Christian points out, the machine learning part is hard, but the human part, that's where it gets truly messy. Because let's face it, we're a lot to handle. The book has 3 acts. Prophecy is about prediction, using the past to guess the future, which usually goes great until it doesn't. Agency is about action, optimizing toward a goal without, destroying everything else in the process. And then there's normativity. That's the values section. It's about what a system should do. This is the hardest part because even we can't agree on what we should do half the time. Try picking a movie with 3 friends. Now imagine doing that with a supercomputer. Surprise number 1? This isn't just a technical problem, it's a us problem. I used to think we just needed better code. But it turns out, the machine isn't going rogue. It's just learned exactly what we accidentally taught it, which is a little like seeing a toddler repeat a swear word you didn't think they heard. Uncomfortable, right? If you train a model on past hiring or lending data, it doesn't erase our old mistakes. It just automates them at lightning speed. The machine didn't invent the bias, it just inherited it like a weird family heirloom. AI doesn't erase bias, it scales it. It's a mirror, and sometimes the reflection is a bit ugly. Second surprise, this hits leadership hard. We already know you get what you measure. Reward speed and people cut corners. Reward looking busy, and suddenly everyone is a world-class professional, productive looking starer. AI just does this on steroids. If you reward engagement, platforms might start promoting outrage because, well, nothing keeps people watching like a good internet fight. That's an alignment problem. The goal sounds great, increase engagement, but the metric is too narrow and suddenly you've built a digital gladiator pit. The metric is not always the mission. A machine doesn't get tired or ask, are we sure this is a good idea? It just follows the signal. If the signal's wrong, the result is very, very wrong. Leaders, you need to know what your systems are actually optimizing for, or you might not like what your company becomes. Third surprise, defining human values is like trying to nail jelly to a wall. We say make it fair or make it safe, but those aren't simple buttons. Fair to who? Safe for what? It's like trying to program a robot to be a cool guy. Everyone's definition of cool is different. We want AI to be personalized, but not stalker, creepy. We want it to be efficient, but not replace everyone with a calculator, heartless, and that's the real challenge. The math is hard, but the philosophy might be harder, and I didn't even sign up for a philosophy class. What I liked? Christian doesn't just give us hype or doom, he shows the actual plumbing of how things break, bad data, wrong rewards, black boxes. It's like a how it's made for AI disasters. It makes the technical stuff actually feel useful and a little terrifying in a good way. Now, the dislikes? This book is dense. There were moments where I had to reread a paragraph and say, all right, Brian, relax, we're not all geniuses here. It's definitely not light beach reading unless you want your brain to get a tan. Also, it's a bit pre-widespread AI, so it feels a little like reading about the internet in 1994. One thing I should add is that the book does point toward a theory for solving the alignment problem. It is not some clean, easy answer. It is not like, here are the 3 steps to make AI behave. Unfortunately, but there is a direction. The basic idea is that we probably cannot just hard-code human values into machines like a giant rulebook. Human values are too messy for that. There are too many exceptions, too many trade-offs, and too many situations where the right answer depends on context. Christian spends time on researchers like Stuart Russell, who argues that machines should not act like they already know exactly what humans want. That is one of the big shifts in thinking. Instead of building an AI system that says, I know the objective, now I am going to optimize it as hard as possible, the better version is a system that says, I am trying to understand the objective, but I might be wrong. And that matters a lot. Because if the machine is completely confident in the wrong goal, that is where things get weird fast. That is basically OptiBro firing everyone, divorcing my wife, and rehoming the dog because I asked for fewer distractions. The serious version of that idea is called inverse reinforcement learning. Instead of giving the machine a reward function and saying, go maximize this, the machine watches human behavior and tries to infer the real goal behind it. So if a person swerves while driving, the machine should not just copy the movement. It should try to understand why the person swerved. Maybe they were avoiding a pedestrian. Maybe they were avoiding a pothole. Maybe they are just a terrible driver. The action alone is not enough. The system has to infer the value behind the action. That connects to another idea Christian covers, corrigibility, which basically means the system can be corrected, which sounds obvious, but it is a huge deal. If the AI gets the goal wrong, humans need to be able to step in, redirect it, update it, or shut it down before it creates real damage. So the goal is not to build a machine that perfectly understands human values from day one. That is probably not realistic. The goal is to build a machine that is useful, but still uncertain enough to ask questions, defer to humans, and accept correction. That is probably the most realistic answer in the book. Not machines that magically understand us. Machines that know they might not understand us yet. Even this video is an example. I'm using an AI avatar to talk to you. The question isn't just, can it talk? It's, is it actually representing me? Or is it just a very polished digital puppet that's way better at wearing a suit than I am? That's the alignment problem in a nutshell. For employers, the stakes are high. AI can boost your P&L. But if you chase efficiency without alignment, you're flirting with legal and brand disaster. If your employees feel like they're being judged by a black box, trust dies. Use AI with clear goals and human oversight, or you're just saving time on your way to a bigger problem. AI literacy is a leadership requirement now. You don't need to code, but you do need to ask, what data is this? What is it optimizing for? And most importantly, who is accountable when it hallucinates a dancing cat instead of a sales report? You need to stay in the judgment layer. AI is a partner, not a replacement for your brain. Overall, the alignment problem is a heavy but vital read. The biggest takeaway? AI doesn't remove our responsibility, it increases it. We have to be clear about what we want, or we'll just build something very fast that's heading in the wrong direction. Thanks for watching, and remember, check your metrics. OptiBro, why are we in space?
You requested fewer distractions. Productivity is up.